Randy Orton has snapped on Cody Rhodes, and finally the road to WrestleMania got a bit more exciting. We'll also check out how this could affect Cody Rhodes and more. Starting things off with Randy Orton and everything that just went down there, and even some smaller hints that some fans might have missed. Coming into this edition of Smackdown, a big talk amongst the community was how both WrestleMania main events involved matchups between two babyfaces, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Sure, some edgy things were said, especially in Roman and Punk's case, but at the end of the day, they're still all babyfaces on paper, so a lot of fans were discussing that and wondering how that could affect the storytelling if there's no clear-cut villain to either of these WrestleMania main events. Well, that big issue was just corrected here on the March 13th edition of Smackdown for the Cody versus Randy match. Both men came up for the contract signing, and something that a lot of fans picked up on right away, and something that hinted at what was to come, was Randy's clothing. Randy was seen just earlier in the night on SmackDown in his vibrant blue Viper shirt, but throughout the course of some backstage segments, especially in the locker room segments later on in the night, you can see Randy's locker and you can see the blue shirt just resting there in the locker, obviously implying and showing that Randy had changed out of that specific shirt. And the next time we saw Randy after that was for his entrance, where he was now wearing his minimalistic black and white RKO Everybody shirt. And fans thought the change of shirt was the very first giveaway that the heel turn was happening. Randy quite literally took off his loud and colorful look. He took this shirt off that has a color scheme that reminds you of a superhero, of someone like Superman. This shirt got some red, blue, and yellow to it, really giving Randy that superhero look and feel. But Randy took that off and instead put on a shirt that was darker and all black, an absolute massive clue about what was just moments away from transpiring. Cody makes his entrance, and it's nothing but claps, cheers, and hugs being exchanged by both men. Even with the contract signing itself, the cheers for a contract signing are usually across from each other at the table. But since Cody and Randy were the closest of friends and best buddies, they sat directly next to each other for the contract signing. Something you don't really see that often, since contract signings are usually involving two hostile parties. Cody gave a brief rundown of their history together, how Cody's first match in the company back in 2007 was against Randy Orton. Cody talked about leaving the company and Randy publicly going on record to say that Cody could be a world champion one day. And Cody also noted that since he's been back, he hasn't had his brother or his wife there with him, but how he's had Randy over these last few years. But this is where the twist really comes into play, and it's also where Randy drops more hints about what his plans for this moment always were. Randy gets up without signing the contract and tells Cody that Cody was not supposed to be in this spot, how this was supposed to be easier because it was supposed to be Drew McIntyre in this exact spot. Cody and Randy exchange some more compliments. Randy signs the contract, but then Randy Orton absolutely snaps on Cody Rhodes with a brutal attack. A very long beatdown all over the ringside area that left Cody busted open. This wasn't just one of those moments of Randy dropping Cody with a simple RKO and shrugging and laughing about it. It wasn't like that at all. It was such a brutal beatdown that you just knew and felt right away was a heel-turning type of beatdown. That's how drastic of an attack it was. When Randy is finally done beating down Cody Rhodes, he sat in the middle of the ring with the undisputed title on his lap to close out the show. Despite this moment signifying a heel turn for Randy Orton, officially taking his hero character and transforming it into a villain, the fans were still strongly supporting Randy and cheering for him as the show went off air. So what was this attack for, and was it personal? Well, if you back things up to the words Randy spoke right before the attack, you get the answer to that question. When Randy said that this was never supposed to be Cody in this spot, and how it was supposed to be easier because it was supposed to be Drew, Randy was not referring to the WrestleMania match itself. Randy was specifically referring to the contract signing. This was all fully premeditated by Randy Orton. Randy didn't go out there and just decide to start beating down Cody Rhodes out of nowhere. Based off what Randy said, he had been planning this contract signing attack for several weeks in advance. And that's why he hinted at some guilt there when he said this was never supposed to happen to Cody. Randy had been planning this for weeks in his head against Drew McIntyre. Everything we saw Randy do on March 13th was originally supposed to see Drew McIntyre as the victim. That's what Randy was planning in his head. That's what Randy was locked in on. Randy knew that when it came to the contract signing with Drew McIntyre, he was going to pull off this exact same attack to him. But Cody Rhodes stepped in the way of those plans and won back the undisputed title. But remember that Randy's mind was already made up by this point. He fully intended on destroying the champion during the contract signing, and that was going to be Drew McIntyre. But since Cody got the title back, and as much as it pains Randy to do, because he actually loves Cody, Randy had to put the crosshairs on Cody. So that's what Randy's words there before the attack was all about. This attack was nothing personal towards Cody Rhodes. Randy pretty much admitted right there that this attack was going to happen either way to whoever was the champion. Randy would have preferred to do this entire attack on Drew McIntyre, but the dice didn't roll that way, so Randy accepted the fact that he unfortunately had to do this to his close friend Cody Rhodes. But why do this? Why go to this level? Well, that answer is pretty simple, and that's the fact that Randy wants his 15th title really desperately, and he knows he's not going to get it being friendly and respectful. He has to dig down deep to that 2009 version of himself and bring that back up to the surface. Randy went after the undisputed title in 2025, but was unsuccessful, maybe because his demeanor was not where it was supposed to be. Maybe Randy's actions here is partially inspired by what he saw John Cena do in 2025. John Cena was nearing the end of his career and wanted one last world title so desperately that John Cena brought out the most evil version of himself to get the job done, and it actually worked. Heel Cena defeated Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41 for the title. So maybe that's something else that played into Randy's decision to do this attack and take this approach. In order for Cena to capture his final world title, he had to dig down deep for the most aggressive version of himself. So maybe Randy did take inspiration from how John Cena won his final world title. If Randy wants one last world title reign, he needs to be as aggressive as ever. He needs to show that he's focused and serious about winning that title again, and that's exactly what he showed us with that contract signing segment. It was perfectly executed, and was probably hands down the best ending to a show throughout this entire road to WrestleMania season so far. We've been seeing a lot of questionable moments as of late, but this was not one of them. It was perfect, and it was exactly what the story needed desperately. No one wanted to see a build-up to a WrestleMania main event, where both competitors are hugging and complimenting each other every 30 seconds. No one wants to see that. There's no story to really pull from there. But thanks to Randy's heel turn, the prior issue there with that matchup is instantly fixed. That's all that was needed, a simple fix. We just needed to see a villain for that story, and now we got it, so that will immensely help this program. For Cody Rhodes, you can argue that this is just a repetitive situation for him to go through, and how the story is very similar to last year's WrestleMania. In 2025, Cody Rhodes was supposed to have a respectful WrestleMania matchup for the title against John Cena, but John Cena betrayed Cody's trust, turned heel, and laid him out with a brutal attack. And that changed the whole trajectory of that story to Cody now trying to take out one of his close friends and mentors that had gone off the rails. Well, here we are 1 year later, and Cody finds himself in that same exact situation again. One of his close friends and mentors have turned heel on him over the title, and he'll have to face them at WrestleMania once again. It's interesting that this is happening so many times to Cody Rhodes. And it does make you wonder if this is teaching Cody a lesson for later on down the road, that if he desperately wants something, he's going to have to do what John Cena and Randy Orton did to him. Maybe the day comes where Cody Rhodes has to turn heel and betray somebody, and Cody would know exactly how to handle that situation due to him going through it multiple times with John Cena and Randy Orton. So you never know if all of those brutal heel-turning attacks really do start to change Cody's character. Maybe he will eventually learn not to trust the people who he thinks are his close friends. And maybe the day will come where Cody is the one that actually strikes first. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.